Hello there, Joe here. For the month of October, I really wanted to share with you guys some spooky themed, costume based content for you guys, and this is one of the first videos. I hope you enjoy. As we all may know, Azula is from outer space, so I really wanted to do something to reflect her origin and where she came from, so I decided to make her a spacesuit. Prior to filming, I did drape and finalize the pattern for the dress and work on the fabric. These are a few samples that I did, and this is the actual fabric right here. It consists of a lace material that I actually pleated myself and made into this new manipulation of fabric that looks so cool to me. It honestly has texture, form, it has everything that you need to make a look very interesting and to make a textile stand out. And here we have a quick look at the final sample garment that I finalized and made all the revisions to before moving on to the actual fashion fabric. For my inspiration, I relied heavily on Pinterest, and this is what you can see right here, my Pinterest board, and got a lot of inspiration from sci-fi, retro, alien girl looks, and photography and art from all sorts of media. And I got a lot of inspiration from me, honestly. A lot of things that stood out were princess seams, silver, like textiles, white shiny textiles, and helmets. A lot of these clear spheres, which was my very first influence, and really what inspired me to do something similar to that. Once I cut all my pieces, it's time to start sewing all the darts. In this case, I got lucky. It's just a simple fisheye on each side of the side panel, I believe. Yeah, the side panel. So I'm only sewing 2 darts, clipping the insides just to give it some ease. And then I move on straight into attaching all the side pieces together to create the actual dress. So all of the heavy and difficult stuff was already calculated and figured out during the sample making process. So this is why I'm moving through everything super quickly. And at this point, I decided to add a top stitch just to give it some more structure and a little depth into the design. So now it's time for the sleeves. The sleeves do have a little dart just to give some form around the elbow and give it some little ease there. And after that, all I did was pin and sew them on. Regular sleeves, y'all know the deal. Since I didn't want to add bulk into the sleeves when hemming them, I decided to do this trick with the zigzag stitch where I made the stitch length as small as I could, which ended up making this really condensed, like embroidered like stitch. And I used that to hem the sleeve, and all I did after was trim that excess, and it was very clean, super cool, and I really enjoyed how it looks. So now that I added the sleeves, I'm all set to start closing the side seams and finishing up the dress and adding all the final touches before we try it on. For the neckline, I wasn't sure if I wanted a facing or some cool sort of turtleneck, but I ended up just adding like a sort of bias tape look where you just stitch it, fold it over, and top stitch. And it kind of raised the neckline up and it made it seem like a faux turtleneck type of look that I really enjoyed. From here on out, we're ready to add the zipper. At this point, I wasn't sure if I wanted zipper or snaps, but I realized that the zipper would be the best option. It would keep everything together at an equal, even place in all areas and really make the fit. And here we are for the final try on to make sure everything's right, and bam, it fits like a freaking glove. At this point, I thought I was done, but I really felt like the skirt needed something else, so I went ahead and started like this sort of skirt that kind of flared out at the bottom. And once I cut out the 2 little circular donuts, I sewed them wrong sides together. I added stabilizer to make it easier to sew on, and then I just did a bunch of these little rows on it to really keep it interesting and add some more of those rows that we have throughout the entire outfit to really bring everything all together. I did end up making it a little too long, so I did have to add a pleat at the front, but honestly, I love it. I really like how it turned out, and yeah, so let's try it on. And now we're all set to start on the helmet. After seeing so many of these fishbowl like helmets on the mood board, I was very set on making that happen and making one of those. However, this clear vinyl that I thought would work perfectly over my deceased hamster's running ball, it didn't work. It didn't have any give. So I went to the next best thing, which was this option right here. As you can see on the top right screen, it is that pink space girl. She has like this cylinder like tube like helmet that kind of rounds off at the top, and I was like, hey, I could totally do that. So I cut out like a rectangular piece, folded it in half, and then at the top I divided the excess amount into about 4 different pieces that I'm over here sewing at a round angle. That way when I open it up, it kind of resembles that cylinder like rounded shape with the rounded top. I did have to do a few little revisions to it and to really perfect the roundness at the top, but after I did that, all I did was hem it with like a little bias tape, stitched it all around, folded it over, and bam, it was all set. I was super proud of this. I really like how it turned out. However, I did really want to try another helmet. I wasn't sure if this would be enough of a wow factor, so I started working out on like another more traditional like helmet, space helmet like type of thing, and I did the same thing with the technique. I didn't want to make a whole new piece of fabric, so I just layered the fabric over a white piece of satin and just stitched it over the same way. Once I finished the hat with its lining and sewing it all up and everything, it was perfect. I was super obsessed and I was really set on making this one the actual helmet. However, I did want to add some vinyl on it, but before I did that, I quickly tried it on to see how much vinyl I would need, and when I tried it on, putting these two helmets together really made them into like one really cohesive helmet. So I was super proud of that, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go with it. So I started adding the snaps, and I added the snaps for the closure and finished up the helmet right away. And the final touch will be this little tulle skirt that I'll be making really quickly just to add to the outfit to really help the skirt puff up and maintain its shape and form and be able to add some movement to photographs and stuff like that. Since we have so much blue and cooler tones going on, I really wanted to give her a pink wig to really emphasize all of her features and blush and all of that. So before we do the final reveal, I just want to do a close-up of the helmet so you guys can get a great look at it up close, and yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Also, let me know how you would have done your helmet. I would love to hear some cool ideas from you guys.
4, 3, 2, 0, and liftoff for the final launch of Endeavour. Expanding our knowledge, expanding our lives in space.
Endeavour, roll program. Roger, roll, Endeavour.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'll see you next time.